Good evening, everyone. Just give us a minute to start the PPT, please. Okay, guys. Three, two, one, go. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming live on the webinar, which talks about the SAT and its relevance on the study abroad dreams during the times of COVID. We welcome you all today for this session, this webinar, which will talk in detail about the SAT exam. So, SAT is a standardized test which is taken typically by the students when they're applying to international universities, especially in US, and to some top universities globally like NUS, etc. We are going to talk in this session about the detailed structure of the SAT. We are going to talk about the entire effort that you can make it in the SAT exam. We are going to take you through the entire curriculum, how it goes through. And plus, so today with me, this webinar will be hosted by three more people. Uh, my name is Manik Kubba, and I'm the Vice President for College Deco. With me in the presentation would be Mr. Mihir Jha, who is the senior faculty with us for the quants. We will have Ms. Parminder, who is the academic head for the verbal with us, and we will have Mrs. Akansha Sirohi, who will be presenting to us the quant side of the program. And plus, she'll be talking about the COVID-19 situation as well for the exam takers. So now, when we talk about the SAT exam, when we talk about our company, we just begin with introducing you a bit about collegedeco.com. So collegedeco.com has been one of the most prominent edtech companies that are here on the circuit right now. We are backed by multiple VC and PE firms, and we have got a team comprising of 700 strong people right now, spread across 8 cities in India. And we are the most comprehensive counseling company right now in India, processing more than 14,000 admissions in a single year, which makes us the largest compiler of student calls across the country. And to talk more about College Deco, we have got a traffic of 1.5 million on our website, which comes to our portal every month, and they seek information about study abroad. They seek information about domestic universities. Basically, we are the go-to portal for all the education requirements into higher education for the Indian students. And like mentioned on the screen, we have been handling over 3 lakh students in 2019. I mean to say 3 lakh students that we have counseled over phone, which is a phenomenal number. Now, coming back to the SAT, which is the topic for today, let me take you through a pie chart. Just look at the pie chart. This is a typical distribution of the weightage that is given to all the sections when you're applying to top universities internationally. SAT score is about 40% of that. You know, when you browse through any website of any university, what you come across is a, a, a median score. You come across as a minimum score. SAT score is one of the most important factors when applying online, or sorry, when applying to the international universities. There are multiple factors of profile, the essays that are relevant to you for your applications. There is a GPA requirement of your 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. But SAT is a primary thing. It's not a eligibility kind of a thing only, but it is one of the most relevant things in your profile, because that is going to make or break admission. Have you heard any time that someone who has not appeared for SAT, or someone who has got a very low score in SAT, has been able to qualify for the admission at the top universities? It doesn't happen. So that means it is one of the most crucial factors, or it is the primary factor that you are supposed to have. So that is why this pie chart represents a very strong need of a good SAT score when applying to international universities. Now the next slide is even more interesting. People think that it is only accepted by the international institutions, only in US, but this is not the case. This is accepted by Indian institutions also. You know, Ashoka, Kriya, Flame, which have been very prominent liberal art institutions, and the upcoming private universities in India. I have just taken a screenshot from the SAT College Board site and just pasted on this slide. You can have a look. So it has got the alphabetical order of universities in India which are accepting SAT scores. And you know, many universities are very aspirational out of these. I'm talking about Korea, I'm talking about Flame, Bennett, Ashoka, and also Srishti, which has been a very prominent design school, SRM, World University of Design. So right from the, you can say right from the design schools to the liberal arts schools to the engineering colleges, they have been looking at accepting SAT. Manipal also accepts SAT. So that means when you are appearing for this test is for comprehensive admission process wherever you want to go globally. It will not be only restricted to the international institutions or the institutions in US, but NUS takes it, National University of Singapore. And plus, it is a unique parameter. If you have got, that will make you stand out from rest of the applicants. So as I talked about the session today, we are going to talk about the entire topics related to SAT. I will be introducing the presenters to you now. The next presenter we have got with us is Ms. Akansha. Akansha is a leading faculty. She's academic head of our quantitative studies. She will be taking you through the COVID situation with the SAT right now. She'll be talking to you about the college board predictions, how the college board is going to transform the things in next coming months, what are going to be the changes, and followed by Mr. Mihir Jha, who will be taking you through some examples. Plus, he'll be explaining you in detail about the structure of SAT. And then we will have Ms. Parminder, who will talk about the verbal section. And plus, very importantly, she will talk about the difference between SAT and ACT. So over to you, Parminder. Oh, sorry, over to you, Akansha. Can you please take it over from me?
Yeah, sure. Hi everybody. Thanks, Manik sir. Uh, Hi all. Today we are going to start. Today we are going to talk about the most important question that we have in our heads these days. That is, what is the relevance of SAT, ACT at these times, at the times of COVID-19? Because many of the universities have announced that they are not taking SAT into consideration in their application process. But we know that SAT plays a major role in the application process. So in a way, their ability to process the application is challenged, right? But ability is challenged doesn't mean their admission standards are reduced, because we need to keep that in mind. Most of the students and many students have taken SAT test. They had taken SAT test last year, and they have their scores in place, and they're going to submit those as well, correct? So what about so they kind of have an advantage there. But what about the students who wish to not write the test and still targeting the top universities? Have you seen anybody? Yeah.
Yeah, so Akansha, you mean to tell students that even though some universities may have waived off the requirement for 2021, but still there are a lot of students who have already given the test. And
Yes.
is that what you mean to say? So a lot of students who had given the test last year also, they would be applying next year. And plus there are very
Yes.
limited number of universities which have waived off the requirement.
Exactly. Many universities have announced that they are exempting SAT scores, but many students had already appeared for the test and they have their scores in place. So basically, they kind of have an advantage with them, and their scores will be will be taken into consideration.
So
So what about?
yeah, let's bring the focus to people giving it now.
Yes, exactly. Let's focus on those. But what about the students who wish to not take the SAT and still are targeting top universities? Have you seen anybody got into top university and without SAT? We do not
So
know
that has
that.
not happened, and that will not happen also.
Yeah, because we don't know that. Maybe exceptionally that will happen. That we do not know. For them, for them, they should know that they should assume actually that their application will be weighted more heavily on the other aspects other than SAT, which is maybe their profile, isn't it? So this was one point: taking SAT, not taking SAT. But the second important question is whether SAT is going to happen or not. Correct? we have this question in our minds that whether SAT is going to happen or not, considering the fact that March SAT was cancelled. In fact, many of my students also were planning to drop their SAT, who were planning to go for March or May. They said, ma'am, since the March SAT was cancelled, should we drop the plan? So I gave them firstly, College Board has announced the coming date for SAT, which is in September. But we need to keep that in mind. March SAT was cancelled, followed by June and subject test. We can still expect a change in that date, right? But there's one very interesting news from College Board that they are planning to go digital with SAT. They're planning to go they're planning to conduct online testing from home, because they were successfully they sorry, you were saying something, Manik?
No. Please continue. Please.
Okay. Yeah. So they successfully conducted AP exams. So they are also planning to do that with SAT. So this is all the more reasons to prepare for SAT, isn't it? Shouldn't they be preparing for it? Why should they drop SAT plans? I don't see any reason for that, isn't it?
So, what I have heard from sources, it could be because SAT used to happen 5 times a year. So now it could happen October, November, December also. 3 months
Exactly.
straight.
They're going to compensate anyway. They're going to compensate because of the current scenarios, of course. But this is this is the best opportunity that they can make the most of it. They actually should this is all the more reasons to prepare for it. It is the best opportunity. Like this, they will never get this opportunity like this one to dedicate so much time to their SAT or ACT studies. In fact, instead of suspending their test prep altogether, they should try and focus on SAT more, so that they prepare it during these times, and whenever the next SAT ACT date arrives, they are fully prepared for it. That's the thing about SAT. One thing for the fact that SAT is definitely going to happen, maybe online or offline, and also the date has been announced already, right? So with that, we need to explore our options. There's explore our options, and the schools are also happening online, so it is kind of a new normal for the students these days. But we at SFS, we have been doing it for years, as you know it. Our faculty here at SFS have been doing it for 10 years now. 10 years we have been teaching students online. We have students from all over the world, and from US, from not from where not. So they are very comfortable taking online classes for the fact that they have good benefits. And the benefits are like teacher student ratio, it's quite low. You can have one-on-one interaction, maximum 2 students you can have online. So when you have one-on-one interaction, your questions are attended more, and you will get better clarity with respect to the content, because you can ask the question at that very moment when the teacher is explaining anything. The timings are very flexible, because whenever the student signs up with us, we actually ask for their schedule first, and then we accommodate ourselves, because we know that an SAT student is actually equipped with many more activities with school. So we understand that, and we accommodate ourselves. So the timings are really flexible and convenient. And with new thing, there are apprehensions that are also there, which is interaction, whether online classes are going to be as interactive as offline classes. But this is not actually the fact. They are just as same as offline classes, in fact better. This is the kind of feedback that my students actually give me. If students, there have been some examples, many students who have signed up with us from some different state, but apparently during the classes they come back to Delhi, and then they join offline, but they prefer online again. So this has happened with us, right?
Kanchan,
And
yeah. Yeah, you've got a lot of students from different parts of the country as well. So with
Exactly,
online, it
exactly.
is
Not
not a
just
restricted medium.
family members. Sorry.
You have got students from all around the country taking online
Exactly.
classes with you. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yes.
And
So
I heard that you have got students from US and UK who are taking classes from you for SAT as well as for
yes,
other tests as well.
yes, for SAT, for SAT, ACT, we have students from all over the world. I said, not just country, because online classes. If you take online classes, it is as simple as opening the computer or tablet anywhere, no matter where you are right now. Location doesn't matter at all. In fact, you get home comfort, which is a good thing, isn't it? This is my
Absolutely. Absolutely.
opinion. This is my opinion. In fact, you avoid travel fatigue. You why do you have to travel, and why do you have to tie yourself from traveling part? Just take advantage of online class and go for it. As you see, in these times, during these times, online classes have become new normal, but we have been doing it for years. This is something which I need to tell everybody, that we are expert at that. Also, you will get one, Mr. Mihir, who is also available with us today. He's going to demonstrate some questions so that students also get to know how the classes are, conducted online,
In
which is
fact, Akanksha, the in fact, Akanksha, the students who took SAT from us, 4 or 5 years back, they now take,
yeah,
GMAT and GRE from us. So I mean,
yes,
for
exactly,
them,
yes,
online is
that's a
the
good
only option. So we yeah.
exactly. Who took SAT are going for GRE, GMAT, which is another fact, which is actually our their faith in us. But why do they come to us, and why they choose us? That's a whole different story, and good things about us, which I would like everybody to know, because we offer customized training programs. Customized training programs are, as I told you, that whenever a student signs up with us, we actually ask for the schedule and everything, and we accommodate ourselves in their schedule. So the program is completely tailored to fit the requirement of the candidate. So, which is one thing, for a fact they like it. And our studies are completely based on case study. Our teaching is based on completely case study, as in, the student is asked to take a diagnostic test. On the basis of diagnostic test, we assess where the student stands, and not just us, the student for themselves also. They assess themselves where they stand right now, and how much effort they need to put in to get to their target score. And our teachings are completely based on the techniques, to ensure accuracy and speed. Now, I will explain. I'll take a minute to explain this point. Basically, the SAT exam is not a school based exam, not at all. It is completely different, and it requires accuracy and speed. Accuracy means the concept, how sound you are with your concept, and whether you are a good test taker or not. Because SAT test or ACT test is actually assessing you on your readiness, college readiness, basically, whether you're ready to take the test, whether you can sit for straight 4 hours and think straight, right? So this is what accuracy and speed is all about, and that can only come with the techniques, and our techniques are tried and tested. As Parminder also mentioned, just because our SAT students are happy with us, were happy with us with those techniques, that is why they come back to us and take their GRE GMAT for their post graduation. And we give frequent classes. Again, this is completely based on customized program, how their schedule allows. Our material is completely focuses on the subject, how the questions are framed officially, and how should we what kind of questions should we focus on. The test, by the way, we offer 22 plus tests, for the SAT ACT, to get a hang of it completely. And not just test, our trainers are completely equipped to give test reviews, so that they analyze their mistakes completely. And homework, obviously, this comes with us free, and personalized attention comes because you take online classes are completely with personalized attention. And our focus is going to be score. Obviously, we'll focus on concepts, how well you are with concepts and everything, but importantly, we need to focus on the score improvement, how you're improving. because improvement is important here. From here to there, how much have you jumped? That is very much important. So these are the factors that we offer, and we believe that because we believe that we are expert at that. That is why we are really good with our work. That is something we feel, and we have a whole lot. We have a big team of trainers who are very well versed with their concepts, and what they know what they're doing. So this is so after that, I would like you to know the SAT structure, and Mihir is going to demonstrate some questions. I would hand it over to him, and he'll tell you all the structures and about SAT, everything. Mihir, over to you.
Yeah.
Mihir, it would be great if you can introduce yourself also. Guys, just 1 second. To all the students and the parents who are there on the webinar right now, they have all the faculties that we have got, Parminder, Mihir, Akansha. They have been teaching for many years. They have taught multiple students across states, across countries. The number of teaching hours that they have accumulated in between them is equal to an entire institution actually put together. And that is why we thought we'll bring you the experts, all these three experts. Now, Mihir will talk to you about the SAT structure. Akansha described to you how, in times of the COVID situation, SAT can be relevant, how you can give it, what are the possible dates, and everything. Now, Mihir will take you through the structure. The structure, and obviously, he'll help you with some examples also. So, coming up, will minutes, which will talk about how you can solve your problems with speed and accuracy. Mihir, over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Manik sir. Hello everyone, my name is Mihir and I'm the senior quant faculty at SFS College Dekho. And I've been teaching since 5 years now, and combined I have 5,000 hours of teaching experience on online platform. Okay, so guys, where Kansha left, I completely agree with her that no, this standardized test is not losing its significance anytime soon, right? So a lot of university still measure this SAT test as a higher standard to assess their students for the college readiness. All right, so I'll talk about technical part of SAT, that SAT structure. Now, starting from SAT structure, guys, SAT tests you on two broad parameter, that is basic of verbal and basic of quant, right? So in the verbal section, you will have two subsection again, that is evidence-based reading and writing. Now, what does SAT test you with the evidence-based reading is, they will throw a passage in front of you, right? And you need to read the passage, grasp all the knowledge, whatever you have, and then go back and answer the question. So basically, they want to test that when you read a piece of information, are you able to comprehend it or not? That's it, right? So you will have 65 minutes for this, and it is spread across 52 questions. Okay. Now, coming down to the writing part of it, guys. In the writing, they don't want you to write anything as such. They'll just want you to identify a line which is grammatically correct. Right? Are you able to identify a grammatical correct English or not? That's it. Right? And for this, you will have 44 questions, and you need to solve this in 35 minutes. Right? And both of this comprise of your verbal part. And the scoring here is between 200 to 800 points, right? So minimum you can score here is 200, and maximum you can go on to score is 800. Okay. Now, so coming down to the math portion, guys, as I'm the math faculty, sir has already introduced, and SAT doesn't test your mathematical skill. Let me tell you this. Now, they just test you that do you have a problem-solving skill or not, right? So in the maths, you have again no calculator and the calculator portion. In the no calculator, you have 20 questions. In this, you have 15 MCQ questions. That means multiple choice question again, and 5 grid-in question where you need to solve it actually and fill in the blanks, right? And circle the respective OMR. Now, coming down to the calculator portion, again, as the name suggests, you have a calculator given to you, right? And this portion will involve a lot of calculation intensive questions, right? So 38 questions, and you can see that you have almost an hour to solve this. That is 55 minutes, right? So in this, you will be having 30 questions, 30 MCQ questions, and 8 grid-in questions, right? Okay. So both of this, again, so highest you can score is 800, and most of our students do that, guys. Trust us. We've been teaching students since so many years, and a lot of our students have came out with 800 out of 800 in quant especially, right? Okay. So these two comprise of your 1600, and we have essay again, that is optional. right? So we still again suggest a lot of students to write SAT with an essay, because university most of the university ask for your SAT with essay, right? And I'm sure you guys don't want to narrow down your options, right? Okay, so having said structure, let us see
Yeah,
what
Mihir,
SAT.
just
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mihir, sorry, one thing. There are many students who are asking in the chat box
Yeah,
that we don't have mathematics in class 11, 12. So
that's
how does it matter? So I've been
that's
answering them that
absolutely,
it doesn't matter. They would like to hear
yeah,
from you as well. So you can
exactly.
tell the level of mathematics that comes in SAT. Yeah.
Exactly. Sir, as I already said, no, it doesn't test your mathematical skill. And what we read in 11th and 12th is completely different, right? So it's SAT just test your school level maths, and it has just the school level plus some tips and tricks what we teach, and some advanced level of concept. That's it. So even if you haven't taken 11th and 12th in your subject as a subject, it's completely okay. You can still come to us and we'll teach you. And in fact, most of our students, they don't have maths in 11th and 12th, but still they go on to do well, exceptionally well, in fact. Okay,
Actually, I would
so
like to add here. I like to add something here, Mihir. We always, for the students who do not have who do not have math in their 11, 12 standard, we actually start with basic math always. We have basic foundation classes, and when do we have it? It is also judged on the basis of the diagnostic test that we conduct. Correct. So once we have the score with it, once we assess what they have, how they have performed, we actually conduct basic math classes. So it's not a problem at all. And also on the SAT, we don't have many advanced concepts that are being tested. There's few concepts that you need to know, and our SAT classes suffice that completely. So to answer the question in short, the basic math is the answer, and which is completely here that we provide to our students. Sorry, Mihir, I interrupted.
yeah, that's completely correct. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, so talking about SAT, guys. Now, as I already said, it's an aptitude test which test your basic of English and basic of aptitude. Now, quantity. So they don't want you to mug anything or remember most of the thing. Now, whatever formula you require in the test, they actually provide you in the SAT paper itself, SAT question paper in the front page, right? So you don't have to remember any formula. All right. Now, as per our experience, the entire SAT paper can be solved in the two ways. The one is the traditional approach, and the second is you can utilize the process of elimination. Now, what do I mean by this is either you solve it through the traditional approach, you read the question and you solve it and select the right answer, or you okay, you read the question and you eliminate all the wrong choices and come out with the right answer, right? So that's what we recommend the student to go with the process of elimination. That's what you can see POE in your slide. All right. Okay. So guys, when you move down the math portion, basically, you will see that calculation will keep on increasing. What do I mean? The difficulty level of the paper keeps on increasing, right? So SAT has that standard that it sets a chronological order of difficulty. So when you move deep down the paper, your difficulty level keeps on increasing. Right. So that's all about the SAT. So we have seen the structure of the test. We have seen all about the test, what they test you. Now let's go back and check what kind of question they test you at. Right. So in the next few minutes, I'll be solving few questions, and please focus here. Stay tuned.
So
All
Mihir,
right.
you'll
So
be yeah. Can you tell everyone that which section does this question come from? Like you have mentioned the structure of the exam. So which section are we talking about here?
will be taking a few question analysis of the quant part, because as I've already said, quant is completely basic, and anyone with the 10th standard of mathematics can do with the SAT paper, right? So let's go down and solve few questions. Okay, I'll just set that. All right. So guys, we all can see a question on our screen, right, which says that if A into B, modulus of B is not positive, right, then A could be. Now, guys, whenever you see this could be stuff, it says that what are the possibilities you have, right? What are the possibilities with this question, right? It says that A into B, so it cannot be positive, right? So if it cannot be positive, it can be a negative value, zero question with little bit of information and the basic, right? So guys, I know that A into modulus of B, and whatever value comes out of the B, either it can be a positive value.
Guys, sorry, probably there is some technical disturbance that we are facing. Just hold on for some seconds.
So we are back now. I hope all of you can hear me.
Yeah, me, probably
yes.
we lost you for a few seconds. So if you can just
You can start the question again, Mir. It's fine.
Yeah,
you
Or,
can start again for everyone. Yes.
I'll start the question again, right? So the question says that if A into mod of B is not positive, then A could be. So you have three statements given in the question. You need to assess three statements and go on to choose the right answer, right? You have four options for this. So it's a could be question. As I already said, we are testing on the possibilities, right? So I have a question which says that A into mod of B. All right. So guys, just let me narrow down the pen here. Okay, so I need to have this either negative or the product should be zero, right? Okay, and I also know that any value which comes out of the mod, either it can be zero or it can be a positive, right? Okay, so guys, if I take, let's say I need the product as negative, so if I take this like A as negative, right? So anything getting multiplied to mod of B will give you a product as negative, right? So yeah, this gets satisfied, this statement gets satisfied, right? Now I also know that if I take A as 0, right? So anything multiplied to mod of B will again turn out to be 0, right? So again, 0 also satisfies here. And when I see for the B here, now B can also be 0 value, right? It can, as I already said, it can be either positive negative value or it can be a 0 value, right? So if I have, let's say, this mod of B as 0, right? A can be either, let's say, positive, negative. We have already tested for negative. I can also take A as positive value now, right? So positive also satisfies here, right? So I can see that all the three statements stands true, right? So we were testing on the possibility. So my answer is 1, 2, and 3. Guys, you could have also eliminated stuff when I see that it was already positive, negative and positive. I could have just went on eliminating these two stuff, option A and option B, and you could also have tried with the process of elimination. I hope you guys have got this question. If you have a doubt, you can type in the chat box, and our expert faculties will take care of this. Right?
Yeah,
Okay,
guys,
guys.
you can put your doubt about the question if you want to ask anything.
Exactly. If you have any sort of doubt, so you can put in the chat box, and our faculty will take care of this. All right, guys. Can we move to the next question? All right. So, guys, another basic and interesting question, right? So, if you can read the question along with me, that will be excellent. Now you'll get the solution very smooth. Question says that if n is the sum of two consecutive even integers, then the sum of next two consecutive integers greater than n. All right, and you have option, variable in the option. Okay, so guys, what we do is whenever we have variable in the option, we try to assume values, right? We try to plug in the values. That's what we call it. So it says that n is the sum of two consecutive integers, right? So I can assume two consecutive integers as 0, or I can take it as 2, right? So I'm taking it 0 and 2, so I'll get the n as 2. Right? The next part of the question says that then sum of next two consecutive integers, right? So I can take next two consecutive integers greater than n as, let's say, 3 and 4, right? So when I add these two stuff, I'm getting what? I'm getting it as 7. Now I need to go back and find this 7 in my options, right? So let's do this. So the first option says that 2n plus 1, right? So n ka value kya hai mera? N is nothing but 2. So when I put 2 here, I'm getting 5, right? But 5 is not my answer. I can go and very well eliminate this option, right? Okay. When I check this B here, so 2n plus 3, so it gives us 7, right? We'll hold on to this answer and try to evaluate the rest of the options. It says that, okay, so 4 plus 5, that is 9, and here you have 10. So I can very well eliminate these two. And I'm getting the option as B as the right answer. So guys, you can see, it was easily solved with the process of elimination, as we have already mentioned in the beginning of the session. So if you really want to learn more concept and more such tricks, you can always connect to our counselors and the number provided in the chat box. So the demo session is absolutely free. You can come back to us and take the class, right? So a demo class will absolutely be free. Connect to us and learn more such concept and no score maximum in your SAT. All right, guys. Okay. So I'll forward this the presentation to Miss Parminder and no,
Yeah, Mihir, anything like you would like to add to what Akansha mentioned before about the test? Do you think it is a right time to do online preparation? And do
yeah,
you
sir.
think it is a
I,
right time to start the preparation? And also,
I,
many students are in 10th, 11th, or maybe they've just entered 12th. Do you think they can dedicate more time right now? So, what is your view and your take on this one?
I personally feel that this is the great time to start your preparation, guys, because an online medium can be the boon right now. No, you don't have to travel anywhere. You sit at your home and you prepare for it, right? Because no, next because your test is going to be, as the college board has the notification that they're going to conduct the test consecutively down the year. So you might not have the time to prepare then, and so starting from now onwards might give you an extra edge over others, right? And I personally feel everyone, those who are aspiring for the SAT score and the admission next year and then after, so you should start your preparation as soon as possible. Okay, I think I've answered your question, sir. Okay, over to you, ma'am.
Uh, Hello guys, my name is Parminder Kaur and I have been teaching and training students for SAT, ACT, GMAT and GRE from last 10 years. And today my job primarily is to, kind of give you some strategies so that, you can at home also apply it. And if you need our help, you can obviously contact us. So I am going to talk about the scariest part, and my job is to make it easy for you. Okay, so I'm going to give you one tip, and what you have to do as a student and the people who are attending this, webinar, you have to download a paper from College Board's website and try this on that paper. And if that doesn't help, probably contact us so that we can help you with a free session that generally happens for 1 hour or 2 hours. So you if you have tried any question of SAT, so you must have seen, that reading passages are really daunting. They're very one, they're very difficult passages. Then there are so many questions, and the time is limited. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that your SAT questions are in a definite chronology. So when we say definite chronology, basically that all the questions you're going to see, they come in a in a pattern. So for example, we have 11th and 12th question given here. So if you can see, the 11th question says that you have to read line 9 to 10, I think, and it's hidden from the video, so I can't see exactly the line. And the 12th question says you have to read line 10 for this question. So you can probably understand that these two questions are pertaining to one paragraph. Now there may be a question that how can this help me with the solutions. So rather than going anywhere in the passage, and looking for answers here and there, if you know that my answer comes from a certain paragraph, A, you can manage time, and B, you know that my answer is definitely from there, so the chances of getting the correct answer increases. You know, so don't just listen to this, understand this, let this thing settle down, and try it on the passages. Because there are two things in SAT. One is the accuracy, and other is you have to maintain speed too. You know, and for accuracy, if the first thing is we must increase the accuracy. If you are doing 52 questions and getting just 20 correct, that doesn't make sense. Even if you are doing 40 questions and you're getting 30 correct, that's a lot better than probably at the first place attempting all the questions. Okay, so this is a homework from my side. Sorry for that. You have to download the paper and try it yourself. Okay, So this is about reading, and this will really help you. If you don't understand, as I said, I'm repeating it. Please feel free to contact us. We are there to help you. So I'm also going to show you one of the two of the questions. Okay. Any question from anybody?
So,
Okay, so
Parvinder,
I'm
they are going to type the questions in the chat box. But you can see, you can just continue with this example for a while, and then we are going to get
sure,
back to it.
sure.
I'm
I'll
going to
do that.
highlight the questions to you.
Okay, I'll do that. Um, and excuse me for not marking anything on the screen because my pen pad is not working right now. So second, I'm going to show you the writing and language, and I've chosen that you do some questions, just two questions with us. So writing and language, guys, is a part of your verbal test, and both of the tests, the reading test and writing and language test have equal, weightage in your final score. And as per me and all the trainers, who teach verbal, they believe that there are higher chances that you can get a higher score in writing and language because of the aspect of the test, certain aspects of the test. That is, it's very mathematical, So if you learn certain rules, you know how to apply them. You are sure to go for, you're sure to get the correct answer. And we do a lot of topic based exercises when we do writing and language. So finally I've seen with almost all of my students, they start getting full in the writing and language sections, or at least that their score really improves. So let's see this question. So can you see first question? So what we primarily do here is we look at the answer choices and see what are they proposing us as answer choice. So here they are, asking us whether it should be, for example, in addition. So we'll see the flow, So they're giving us words. Which word will fit there as per the meaning of the sentence? So the first sentence says, in US cities, open space is difficult to come by. And then they say in New York, dash, I'm reading it as dash so that I can then logically fit in the word. They say in New York, nearly half of the district have less than 1.5 acres of parkland. I'm not a parkland per 1,000 residents. So I've read till full stop. So I see New York is a part of US, and they are saying that US there is a difficulty, of open space, and New York is further, extension of the same thought. So rather than saying likewise, which is, kind of in comparison, we must say, for example, because we are exemplifying and we are giving an extension of what we said before. So answer should be Delhi here. And while I'm solving question number 2, I would be really happy if you can post your answers because that's something, that's a tricky question. So while I'm explaining this, maybe you can put your answers and that will help you understand, how firm is your, grammar when it comes to application. So again, we will see what kind of answer choices we have in front of us. So they are, giving us but, nonetheless, however. So we know by meaning that these things are, these things are contrasting. For example, I like you, however, I don't want to come to the party, with you. So let's see what do we put here. So we see, let's see it from the full stop. It says transforming landfills into park has its pitfalls. So now just think whether this sentence is complete or not. So if I read the sentence again, it's a complete sentence, right? Now after that they say however, and let us read further and decide whether the next sentence is complete or incomplete. Now it is well worth the effort for communities to invest in these spaces. So again, a complete idea. Now, so I'll just give you one very basic thing. When you have two complete sentences, you need to put either full stop, semicolon, or a conjunction. And in these answer choices, only but is qualified as conjunction. All the others are adverbs. So now if you ask me what are adverbs, I'll say I'll do that in the classes. Because that adverb is I need to explain that with examples. And the rule is an adverb can't join two sentences. A conjunction can. Okay. So therefore, answer should be B. So now just these small things, and this is an official question. I have taken it from the official paper of SAT. So if you know these things, this can help you immensely with getting your answers correct. So the kind of mistakes probably you were making before, they get rectified, and it's a good thing. So you must really consider about scoring well in writing and language section, and doing a lot of type of different drills and all that helps. So after these two tips, strengthening your grammar and understanding the chronology of the question, I'm going to now talk about SAT and ACT, because another pertinent question from my students is, should I go for ACT? Should I go for SAT? These kinds of things. So the very basic things
Yep,
first.
Parminder, can I ask you a couple of questions before we move further for all the students who have been putting in inquiry right now? So
Sure, Manik.
SAT and ACT, just basic questions. Are they do they have the same relevance?
See, when you say talk about acceptance, all the universities accept it. None of the universities says I'll take SAT
Okay.
but not SAT. So they have same relevance. That is my first point. Also, if you can see here, you know.
And,
So
and how do we suppose a student is confused about it? So how do we try to find out that where the student can be better at? How do we go about it?
I'll talk about that too. Another thing is, I think if you try to do it yourself, you can get, even you'll be more confused. So you should come to a trainer, because the trainer, for example, I have 10 years of experience. I've seen students after writing ACT, going to ACT, after giving ACT, going to SAT. So maybe, we take a test. So after that, we analyze that student can do, better in one of the tests. Yeah? Okay. So
Okay.
another thing about
Fantastic.
format, which is very important. ACT is a computer-based test, and as I know, a lot of my students are not comfortable with a computer-based test because we do paper-based test, in our schools. So that can be one of the factors for deciding this test. Apart from that, all the practice that we do that happens on the computer, so that if you feel that you're not comfortable but you're better at ACT, you can then go for ACT. So it's not that this thing can be a make or break thing. Math formula. So I get to hear from a colleague that ACT math is questions are easier, whereas the concept they test could be little of little higher level. But the ACT questions are straightforward, whereas SAT questions are the little twisted, so that you make more mistakes. I think that is a basic difference also between ACT and SAT, because ACT is a speed test and SAT is not a speed test. So in speed test, they can't give you something very tweaked and twisted, because there they are saying how fast you can basically finish questions. Okay, so the number of sections are same. You see 4 sections in ACT and 4 sections in SAT. The math section, it's written one here. You see 2 math sections, one with calculator and other without calculator. And essay is optional in both of the tests. And as I always suggest my students, even if it is optional, you must go for it. You know, one of the way is, one of the way to decide this is, even if one university is asking for essay, you won't write, SAT again with or ACT again with essay. So in your first attempt only, you should go for essay, and it gives a very good it leaves a very good impression on the universities if you have attempted essays. Uh, ACT happens 6 times in a year and SAT happens 5 times in a year. We know SAT and ACT both are cancelled, but as soon as we are out of the situation, they have promised that they will do tests in September, October, November, December. In fact, they are planning to come, to your home so that you can write this test at home. AP has successfully happened at from home. It's going to happen on 12th May. So you can't just think that probably SAT and ACT won't happen and we'll be free of SAT ACT. If AP can happen at home, then SAT and ACT would. And time duration is also almost similar. You see 3 hours and 35 minutes in ACT and 3 hours 50 minutes in essay. So let's move to the next part, which
Yep. Parminder, just a couple of questions again. We have been getting
Yes.
calls and we have been getting questions on our Facebook, live Facebook, and everywhere as well. So when people talk about SAT and ACT, so what, so we have seen like you are recommending a test based on students' ability, but what we have also heard that analytical ability also plays a key role. So do you think when students are, and plus one more question that I want to ask, does it mean that students who have taken science or mathematics in class 11, 12 should go for ACT in comparison to SAT? Do you think that
uh,
would be a reason?
about math, I feel even if you haven't taken math in your 11th or 12th, it doesn't make any difference, as Mihir said, because we do basic classes. Apart from that, verbal, which is the deciding factor generally for us, I would say in ACT, if the student has already been really well with the verbal passages and the type of questions, then student should go for ACT, because then if you know math and I say I will time test you, you know you can do it. But even if you don't know math and I say I will time test you, that will really scare you. Whereas in SAT, there's little relaxation, so that helps. you know so if somebody is already good in math, I can give him anything and I can test him or her on timings also. It's like that can be the deciding.
Parveda, you have been teaching for how many years? About 9, 10 years? How many years of teaching have you been doing?
It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years.
10 years. So, what
Yes.
has been the percentage of people appearing for ACT versus ACT? Are they 50-50, or a lot of people take ACT as it's a more
But
popular test?
there is a peer pressure also. I think if my friend has gone for SAT, then I too want to go for SAT because that sounds safe to me. So majority of my students go for SAT, and a very few students go for ACT. You know,
So,
but whenever I
peer
suggest my
pressure.
students that you must go for ACT, then they take my advice seriously.
So, guys, what all the faculties are here trying to tell you also, that as a company, what we try to do, we are going to assess you and tell you which test is more relevant for you, which
Hmm.
test you have got a better scope to score more,
Hmm.
where you can
Hmm.
have a chance to score more. That is what we are going
Hmm.
to recommend it to you. And that is the reason for compiling this detailed information between ACT and ACT.
Hmm.
Otherwise, everyone is going for ACT, let's give ACT. Here we are making an effort to make you understand the two different sides of every exam, the SAT and ACT, and they both are equally applicable. So we would request you to look at these upcoming two slides in detailed manner, because they are going to define for you which test can be suitable for you. Over to you, Parminder. Thank you so much.
Another thing, Manik, is the science section in ACT. We are going to talk about sections also. I think that can be another, decision maker after your analytical skills in language and reading comprehension. If you have taken computers or arts and you're not very comfortable with science passages, terminology, for example, I'm not very comfortable with ACT science passages, whereas they are not testing you on science, but they test you on the basically it's a passage, science passage. So I'm not very comfortable with the terminology. So students who are not comfortable with such terminologies and all this, I think they must opt for SAT. Okay. Well, let's
Great.
talk about section wise difference. So I've broken it like this. In reading of SAT, you should be really comfortable with the classical reading. So when I say classical reading, at school you read Maya Angelou, you read Wuthering Heights, all these type of things. With that, you should also be very comfortable with the world history. Names like Roosevelt, names like the speeches of Gandhi. We are well aware of Gandhiji, but the speeches of Gandhiji and the Lincoln speeches, all these things you should be very well versed with, because there are two passages which are based on just this world history thing, and there are other passages, so they're very classical. Whereas in ACT, the passages are easier and very detail oriented. You have to run, and get your answers. And math we have spoken about, but a slight difference, that you should be good in doing math by hand when it comes to SAT. And when in ACT, since you're running and you're doing it fast, you should be good at mental math. You know, SAT, you don't like science, as I said, and you specifically like science. That kind of lures you. So therefore you went for ACT. And English and writing, both of them are quite similar, but again, ACT as is your speed test, so you will see simpler concepts. Whereas in SAT, the concepts will be that the questions will be little tweaked, so that you have to think a little more. Now, essay is the difference in essay is very important and very interesting. In SAT, you aren't making an argument. You are going to analyze an argument, right? To give you an example, after this webinar, probably you will analyze, how did you like it and which part did you like the most. So you're going to critically analyze what happened. Whereas right now, I'm making an argument. So that's like an ACT essay. So ACT essay, you make an argument on a topic. Whereas SAT, you're given a huge speech, which you have to critically analyze. So this is the, section-wise difference in SAT and ACT. Now, let's uh, dive a little deeper and see the, other differences also. So SAT is out of 1600, 800 for math and 800 for verbal, and ACT is out of 36. So 36 for 36, 36, 36, like for four of your sections. Then the average is taken out. Apart from the other three things, which is the penalty for wrong questions, there is no deduction in both the tests. You get no negative scoring if you get a question wrong, either in ACT or in SAT, and you definitely get the same type of score, plus 1 point in SAT and ACT. It's same. And if you leave any questions, there is no deduction. Whereas we suggest not to leave any questions because since there is no penalty, why to leave any question? At least guess something. Your guesswork can be correct on that day. Okay, so after scoring, we are going to talk about the time per question. Okay, and that also I have divided in sectional way, so that you can understand it better. So in ACT, your total questions are 175. Your total questions are 215, and your total time is 175. Whereas in SAT, you have 154 questions, and the time is almost exactly similar. So that can help you understand that ACT is a time test. I generally tell my students that it is designed so that you definitely are going to leave some questions. For those you're going to mark the letter of the day. If you choose, you decide that if I leave any question in this test, I'm going to mark C for all those questions which I'm going to leave, or A for all questions which I'm going to leave. So in ACT, that's sure to happen. Whereas in SAT, that won't happen. With more practice, the more papers you write with us, you start managing your time. Because I've seen in my classes, after my classes, which are generally 10 to 12, we do a lot of practice sessions with our students. We call them every weekend, and for online classes, we call them online, and they do papers with us. So it's like I'm a proctor, you there, and at the end we discuss. So by the third and fourth paper, my students become very good at managing time. In fact, the writing in language, which is for 35 minutes, they start doing it in 30 minutes. So this time can get managed in SAT, but it doesn't get managed in ACT. ACT, even if you do really work hard, you will always finish on that spot. So that's one thing about ACT. Now, last we are going to talk about time per question, which further strengthens what I have been telling you. So you can see this chart, table, and see that per question time in SAT is more, than the per question time you have on ACT. So that brings the difference, that strengthens the point. So this is the kind of analysis we have done for you, statistical analysis, and we have kind of informed you and told you that per question time in SAT is more. So that strengthens what I have been telling you. So if you have to maybe number on what things I can decide whether I should go for ACT or SAT, first of all, how are your skills on the reading section? Second, are you ready for any time test and computer based test and the science section? This thing. And even if then you are confused, do come to us, because we make you write both the papers, and we make you write, we analyze those papers also, and we make you write a combined paper too. And after that, the analysis by us really helps the students deciding, what kind of thing they would like to go for. Even when we do a demo, then itself is it's clear that we can we will decide by looking at the analytical skills of the student that the student will be better for ACT or SAT. So if you find yourself in quicksand, just come to us. Don't feel that we don't feel that you're alone and somebody will pester you with this. We contact you, and if you feel like continuing with us, we help you. You can post your questions. Now is the time for question answer round. Manik and we.
Yeah, Pamela, just one more thing. We'll go to the Q&A mode. Bharat, we may please request you to turn into the Q&A mode. Great. One thing. So, what is the difference between Indian test and the test like we are talking about SAT and ACT? Means I've got one pointer. I can ask your opinion also, because that is where a lot of students will be looking at both the countries in current situation.
That's my favorite question. The Indian test, I hope I've got your question right. The Indian
Yeah,
test are
glad
like
I asked.
IITs and all this. All this. This is what you're asking, IITs versus these type of tests and the other things. Okay, I'll answer
Yeah,
that.
know.
So
Yeah.
all my students, their parents tell me that I have put my student, if I put my kid in, Bharatiya Vidya Mandir or Fiji and all these places from class 7 and class 8. So look at the difference. SAT is something that makes you strong on your communication, your analytical skills in language as well as mathematics is very different from IITs, that just focuses on one subject, And any test you write after your 12th class, I am a DU pass out. Even their tests are very, very scary and they may not relate to this type of, knowledge. So we don't have tests here which relate to SAT. So therefore, it's very important that we start on the right time. And I have been looking at one question which says which class we should start at. I would suggest my student to start at in 10th class, so that you have good time to, if your reading section, verbal section is weak, you have good time to strengthen that part of your, that part,
Yeah.
because there you're going to
Parminder,
use
I'm
that.
going to just, yeah, I'm going to cut you short a bit because I think the number of questions are increasing in the site for
Sure,
you.
sure.
Europe, SAT or ACT, it doesn't matter. You can give both the tests. They all are equally important. Okay, what is the fee structure? I think we have been asked this question. What is the fee structure for our online coaching? Shambhavi, we are going to ask a counselor to be in connect with you to give you the fee structure depending on your suitability. Parvinder, Mihir, Akansha, please feel free to answer the questions. Which test is more suitable for non-med students? I think one thing, guys, everyone on the panel, everyone on the webinar right now, it doesn't matter what program you are applying for or the course you are applying for. You can give both the tests. Both the tests are equally
Or
suitable for for all the
yes,
universities. Okay.
or which stream are you from?
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
It's
Is
just the
SAT
science
helpful for
section that
medicine?
you have in ACT, just the science section which is extra in ACT, which is
Yeah.
also not science.
Shweta
Science,
Mitra,
it's more of
medicine.
reading.
Okay. Is SAT helpful for medicine students? See, medicine and law are admitted in a different way. You can give any of the tests. That is what I am repeating. For a BBA course, also ACT or SAT both can be given.
Doesn't
What is
matter.
the next question? We need to give IELTS or TOEFL. Is it necessary? So, Kavita, IELTS and TOEFL are English language requirement test, and SAT and ACR academic test. English language tests are given like IELTS or TOEFL when your first language is not English, which as an Indian you would have. So SAT is given by the American students also. Students who live in US, they also give SAT, but they don't need to give IELTS or TOEFL because their first language is English. And next question is, what test for Canadian universities? You can give IELTS, you can also give SAT to boost your profile. Canadian universities are getting very competitive with large number of applications coming in. So giving an SAT exam will not be a bad choice. It's not compulsory, but it is going to add to your status. Okay. Again, we are getting which is better, ICT with specialization. Okay. Sorry, we have missed this question. For Canadian college, so when you talk about getting probability of admissions into MIT, it depends on your profile. It depends on multiple factors. I would suggest connect with our counselors. We are going to send you the contact details. We are going to send you an emailer. We have got 8 offices across the country. We have got a 45-member dedicated team to answer your queries, your answers, everything on the study abroad part. The SAT, ACT admissions to Canada, US, everywhere. So please feel free to get in touch with our offices. Which test should commerce students take? Again, the same question. The stream does not make it necessary to take any test. Simran Sani, for a BBA course, which one is required, ACT or SAT? You can give if you want. In touch with the counselor, what they are going to brief you about the detailed process that you can undertake when you want to apply to the topmost universities. Any more questions that you can publish? Vishal Singhal, I am going to ask your question. Vishal, can you please publish your question again? Does SAT offer scholarships? The next question by Pancham. SAT do offer scholarships, plus SAT can be the basis of scholarship. If you have got an SAT exam, there would be a minimum criteria by many universities to grant you scholarship as well. Plus, plus the SAT run by College Board also has got its own scholarships to hand over to you. Any questions, guys, which has been left unanswered? We can answer it right now. Vinay Yadav asks, if someone is studying at boarding school, how can we help? Vinay, we have got students from across the country who are at boarding schools in Bangalore, in Dehradun, in Ooty and everywhere. We have been able to teach students online. In fact, even with the restrictions on, we will be able to easily communicate and get the coaching done online. So don't worry about the boarding part. What is the most appropriate time for class 11 science students to give exams? So in class 11th or in 12th, typically students can give class in exam in class 11th. They can make another attempt when they are in class 12th also. So you can have multiple attempts at the exam. It is not like it is happening once a year. These are standardized tests. They are not competitive exams. They happen multiple times in a year. You can definitely appear for it in 11th, 12th or 10th. Maximum students appear for it is 2 to 3 times. How to boost my profile in class 12th? Gavesh, you need a very subjective answer. Objective answer is not possible. You can share your CV with us, you can share your activities with us, and we can guide you step by step into your profile building. In fact, profile building and admissions are the forte of our team. So, Gavish, we are going to contact you and take it from there on how to help you with the profile building. Is it necessary to take SAT or ACT classes? A coaching institution or a help from a mentor is definitely of great help, Kavita. There is nothing that you cannot do on your own. You can repair your car, you can file your taxes, you can do everything on your own. But still, taking a professional help is a catalyst to do it in an effective and better way. Is SAT relevant for medicine students? When applying to US, you would need an SAT to go to top schools, even like John Hopkins, everything. If I receive the SAT offer letter, but still should I give SAT? See, Manpreet, if they don't require an SAT, you're not required to give it. We are talking about the going to the best schools possible. And plus, maybe for scholarships, it may be required or it can be helpful. What is considered a good SAT score? Mihir, Parminder, you would like to answer it? Akansha?
Any score above
Consider
14,
any, yeah, please.
any score above
First,
1450 should be good.
So 1450 is what our faculty suggests that you should try to score minimum. How
so I
important uh, are
I
the
think
extracurricular achievements for getting admission? Yeah, Parminder, yes.
So I was saying that I think your profile also matters because we have seen students with 1200 also going to good universities. The profile was
yeah,
very strong. So good score is as per
Yes.
your total profile, whereas a top
good
So I
score
score
think
generally.
you the admission is a good score basically. It also depends on your profile, how your profile is built. That would give you scholarship and the admit.
Ansh, I've already answered the extracurricular part on the profile building thing. And can anyone get a perfect score? So guys, did you had a chance to meet up with anyone who had perfect scores? I know a
Yes,
couple of my benches who have got a 1590, 880. So what do
we
you say?
have we
Recently, one of my students have got 760 in verbal, which is a very difficult
see
score in the March
in
SAT.
math perfect score is very much achievable, and we have had lots of like we cannot even
Yeah, I
we
think 800 or 800 is a definitely achievable score.
yes.
No, that doesn't include essay. Essay score is separate. That's
Shubham, we
out
are
of
answering your
24.
question. Shubham, 1450, your question we are answering right now.
1450 doesn't include your essay score. That's separate. It's out of 24.
Same ask
This
is
A
asking
lot
what
of
help in
things,
profile building. Same,
this is a
we
very
need to take
participation
a
in
detailed
activities,
look at what you
everything.
have been doing in last 2 years and what you can do in next coming years. That is how profile building goes. Pancham is asking a question. If we will opt without essay, does it affect our selection? Yes,
no.
Pancham, it can impact selection at few universities. It can.
Yes.
At some universities, it is required for you to appear for it. So I think we have answered almost all the questions. So guys, here is something that we would like to conclude with you as well. We are about 5 minutes remaining in our test. So what we are asking you to do right now is we are mentioning, guys, can we have our contact numbers on screen, please? Okay. So thank you so much. You can give a call on this number, schedule a session. We will answer all your questions in detail. We will give you the complete information regarding test, regarding admissions, and we are here to help you, support you, assist you. And we are a consulting company who has been very strong into advising students. Across India, we have got student references and testimonials, which speaks a volume about our faculty, speaks a volume about our counselors. We would like to help you, assist you in your quest for study abroad, or even if you're applying in India, or even if you're applying to both the countries, in India as well as outside India. We are going to help you with complete support, cooperation, and with our expertise as much as possible. This is a number displayed on screen. We are based in say 8 different cities. Right now, we are available on phone due to the COVID-19 situation. We are here to provide a great platform for you so that you can undertake the coaching right now with our expert faculty, and we can give you unlimited coaching hours. We can provide you unlimited doubt sessions right now because sitting at comfort of your home, we are also sitting at home right now, and we have got more time and dedication that we can bring to you. You don't need to go out. You don't need to travel anywhere. You don't need to adjust your timings too much. You don't need to look for batches adjustment. You can just pick up a call, dial us. We will schedule a roster. We will take a demo class and bring you to the forum where you will get the expert advice, coaching, mentoring for your college admissions. So any questions, please refer to this number. Give us a call. We are happy to answer you. Any more questions that anyone would like to publish, we would like to answer that. And before we end, thanks to all the three faculties with us, Parminder, Akanksha, and Mihir. Thank you so much for all the information that you provided today. I hope all the people who attended the webinar had got their answers. Plus, there are a lot of questions about the admissions. As we are an expert admissions company, we would like to take this all these questions of the webinar on this contact number. So thank you so much, all the faculties. Thank you, students.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone, for participating.
Thank
Have,
you, buddy.
stay safe. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank
Hope
you.
to listen to you soon.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye, bye everyone.
Bye.